evening, everybody. My name is Warden, and I will be your host for tonight's entertainment. Today we will be making more progress as promised towards finishing off our communications tower and getting it functional. First and foremost, the progression of the Hungry node has come along nicely, and in order to escape its pull, I've started to line the outside of its observation chamber with paving stones of travel to give me the needed speed boost to be able to move around it with ease. Otherwise it'll just yank you right up against the damn thing. It's nearly a block in diameter, which is very, very good, and I've hooked it up to a redstone mechanism that when the time comes will allow me to activate it for the purposes of getting out our distress signal. I've made this little electrical room back here, though it's quite barren. The button back here won't do very much right now. It just connects to this redstone paste, which leads down to this redstone torch, which currently will power the redstone lamp that will act as a catalyzing unit for the Hungry node. As for other pieces of progress, I have made some progress in Ars Magica. My Ars Magica island is a complete and utter disaster right now, but I did add the related obelisks for neutral, light, and dark Ethereum in that temporary hell cube over there, with a sinister node above it, acting as a fuel source for the black aurum to feed upon, as it feeds upon mob souls. I've added these crystalline structures sort of as an experiment in design, but I'll be real, I'm not a huge fan of the way that they look. I may remove them or change them, or I'm not sure, I'm just not a big fan of the way that they're looking. I was hoping that they would look really cool, kind of like there's pieces of moonstone or blue topaz jutting up and out of the ground, but currently it looks just kind of messy. I did, however, make some new spells. I retired my old Dirt Hater spell into the Hole Maker spell, oh god damn it, which is a Silk Touch spell that I could switch between touch or projectile in case I ever need to dig at range. You can make spells with two different modes by subjecting them to two different spell groups. You just take your book, you put touch here, you put projectile or beam or whatever you want for your range here, then you put your spell modifiers down here. I've learned quite a lot about Ars Magica through experimentation, and with that I was able to create this healing spell, which will heal me for 1 heart, useful in a pinch. I've changed out my electricity spell for this cool little laser beam, and before things get too orange, I'll demonstrate it. As you can see, it's not quite as fast as spamming it with projectile, but it's consistent damage that I can drag to lead enemies instead of having to follow them with a projectile spell in hopes that it'll help. And once the blood moon is over, I will show you one more spell that I have created. Whew. Now, with that done, how about I tell you about my new spell with a funny joke? I did a little mining off camera. You know, just a little bit of mining. Just a little bit of mining off camera. You know, just a bit. Now, while this looks like it's quite a lot, it is. However, it's not nearly as much as it looks because it's all thanks to this new spell that I managed to find and create for myself. Now, the spell design is not by me. This is from a community spellbook forum that I will link down below in the description. But basically, when I fire it off, it'll fire off 5 7x7 areas with Silk Touch and Mining Power 1, and it gets me quite a lot just in a couple of seconds. So each of these are 23 torch spaces long. I tend to measure stuff by torch length rather than anything else. And I have accrued quite a lot of resources as a result of me just coming down here and spamming the shit out of the spell. It's quite impressive and a lot of fun to just come down here and mine for hours and hours and hours on end. So, you know, I'll be coming down here on occasion, mining things out, and getting myself the ores and resources that I need. Now the main limiting factor, honestly, is having to wait for motherfucking ore clumps, because you can't really automate those even with the Essentia method, because that metallum and that ordo has to come from somewhere. On the boulder side of things regarding progression, I haven't made a whole lot of progress, but I have begun the public park, the marketplace area, and the first set of homes for our villagers to live in. This one is a 2-floor. It will have beds, bookshelves, cauldrons, you know, the regular amenities. This one's single floor. Over here, this one actually has a bit of an overhang on the outside so that you could see outdoors. And all of them look over the public park, which I have started to fill with plants, grass. I've started filling out this little pond here. And these animals that I have collected, I went to the Twilight Forest and grabbed these, will do nicely for decorating the area around here. Just grab a couple of building materials because I plan to use them for our project of the day. I filled out this part of the boulder as well to hide the hungry node production. As far as I could tell, it's reasonably well hidden and hard to tell that there ever was a big cavern there in the first place, but I'll let you guys be the judge of that. And if we go over here, we can see the porch upon which my little servitors are working on. We have 9 saplings here being planted by our wonderful little workers here. I've dressed them up in uniforms so that they have tiny bow ties. Our lumberjack here cuts it all down. It's brought here to these 2 boys with their workbenches, and they feed the crafting tables into this chest, which I also use as a generalized garbage chest as needed. I will eventually figure out a system to evenly divide the crafting tables that are created so that it feeds Fabrico into these jars. But all in all, the system is very successful, even though it's not operating at 100% efficiency. The crafting tables combined with my use of it as a garbage chest has grown the hungry node to a substantial size. Now, on to our project of the day. The main stopping point for automating terrasteel is the lack of consistent mana production. While I can throw charcoal down into the endo flames every now and again, it's not consistent or fast enough for continuous terrasteel production. So I have decided that I'm going to try and automate a Gormalies. I already have the necessary materials for that in here. We have our Gormalies, we have the open crates, we have hoppers and redstone components. There are just a couple of things missing. See, what I want to do is I want to automate the Gormalies using a chicken cooker, which is a very easy beginner's farm made by firing eggs into a area with a slab and a dispenser with lava on top. When the chickens are babies, they're not tall enough to go in the lava, but when they are adults, they will be tall enough and their heads will touch the lava and they will cook. And because they have so few hit points, they will barely even feel a thing before they're already dead. Which will be 2 parts prevent them from floating up into the lava and destroying their drops and being a near instant humane death for them. Just there are, the main issue with having a chicken farm is chickens are very, 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 very noisy. So I have been doing research into possible long-distance item transport so that I can have the chickens be farmed while they are out of earshot, so I don't have to listen to them clucking incessantly all day long every day. And from what I could tell, the best method to do long-distance item transportation, because hopper chains are incredibly laggy, is item mirrors, which is a very, very simple recipe using the infusion altar. And it looks like all I have to do is either drop or fire items with a dispenser, depending on whether or not a hopper will work, into item mirrors. So let us get the necessary materials to put these together. We will need mirrors are adapted in pairs, so you always want to create them in twos. Now we will want to remove the focus from our wands. Fucking warp effects. Hate when that happens. Okay. Moving on. Let us infuse ourselves a couple of mirrors. There we go. Really easy. There we go, and we will do the next one. So boop, 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 and begin. And done. Alright, our 2 mirrors are done. So now that we have our mirrors, it is time to decide where we are going to set up our chicken farm. I think it would be most prudent to just set it up directly underneath the Botania Island, just so that there are minimal amounts of chunk loaders used, as the Botania Island already has a chunk loader on it. So let us make a setup for our Gormalies, where the items will be dropped onto it. So this is terrasteel automation. This is the terrasteel platform that I have made. So perhaps we can make a Gormalie setup just directly underneath it with a spark on top of it. Probably with a 4-way mana distributor. Ooh, let's not use our quarry spell here, huh? Let's not do that. Alright, so the 4-way mana distributor is going to go here. 100% completely not centered, by the way. Living rock, 2 mana steel, easy. Alright, I'm gonna make one of those. I'm gonna get a piece of dirt to put the Gormalies on, and I might even make multiple Gormalies depending on how successful this setup is. And we will proceed with our plan to make a chicken farm. Consider this a 2-part tutorial on chicken farming and Gormalies automation, how about? With the assistance of Thaumcraft. I imagine that there are ways with the Botania to transport things long distances, but Thaumcraft has the easiest method. Alright, mana distributor made. Let's put this right under here. This room is not going to be symmetrical even a little bit. Now we have mana pools. Now which side? Let's do this side for the Gormalies. So let's take our dolly full of materials. Gormalies. Great wood. It needs to be up very slightly so that the mana spreader can get above it. There we go. Pointing at the mana distributor. I'll make some sparks to put them over these pools later. Now we want our feeding system. So right above this Gormalies, we are going to have our open crate. There we go. Into this open crate, we are going to have a hopper. I think the redstone mechanism for timing when these come out should be on the chicken farm side. So we will take this. And this should make it so that the mirror distributes properly. So if I put this in here. Okay, it needs to be up a little bit. There we go. If I Okay, that works. But it does get flung out a little bit forcefully, so let us put some glass around it. And I think I'm going to change this to concrete, this system right here. Whoops, I need to move this down very slightly because there needs to be room for the ceiling. Just give me a moment to fix this really quick. There we go. Now ideally what will happen is, on a 3-second delay, a piece of cooked chicken will fall out of that mirror onto the gourmets. The gourmets will eat the piece of cooked chicken, as demonstrated right here, and generate mana. Might need a couple more pieces before a shock comes out. Oh, there we go. It wasn't connected to the mana spreader. There we go. As you can see now, each mana pool is getting a shot of mana distributed to it. And if I put sparks up over here, it will transport the mana directly up to anything that needs it, but most especially this terrasteel platform right here. I'm gonna finish fleshing out the ceiling, and then we are going to get to the actual feeding mechanism upon which this will operate. Are you fucking kidding me again? Ugh. I swear, always when I'm recording do I get these things hundreds of times over. This has to be one of the most cramped setups I've ever made. I'd love to make it a little bit bigger, but the island size unfortunately restricts me, which is a little bit counterintuitive to my own personal design thesis, where I like to have plenty of space to move around, but you make do with what you got. Anyways, as per usual, I'll be waiting out this blood moon until it is over on account of the orangeness. Okie dokie. Blood moon finally over. While it was occurring, I did take some time to clear out some space down here for working. It's a little bit small to cram a chicken farm into, but I'll see what I can do about making it as compact as I can. So first things first, deposit our chest of materials, and let us review. So we're going to want a platform of hoppers for our supplier chickens to stand upon. We're going to want a dispensing mechanism that will fire the eggs into the cooking chamber, how about? And then we're going to want another mechanism that will send the items to the, send only the cooked chicken to the gourmets. So for that we're going to be needing item filters, which I'll be using the Impulse SV design, most classic of all item filters. Though definitely not the earliest design. Uh-oh. That's the wrong spell. Oopsie. Well, you got to see it in action again, and what it looks like when you misfire. You know, I'll just clean that up off camera. It's fine. Anyways, where was I? Okay, yes. 5, 6. So this will be where our supplier chickens are. The supplier chickens will be standing on a bed of hoppers covered by carpet. And they will be the ones that will be supplying our eggs to our dispenser. I'm going to be using green carpet just because it resembles grass. Just a little bit. There we go. Now let us get ready to toss our chickens in. And while AI pathfinding causes some lag, these guys should be fine in here, as they don't really have that much room to move around in, and also, I don't know, boxing them up in a 1x1 just feels a little bit too cruel, even though this is factory farming chickens. There we go. Now we have an observation room, because I will be coming down here on occasion to monitor it and check in on it. Completely sealing in your redstone is inadvisable because it will limit your ability to come in and maintain it later on. You want to at least have some type of maintenance shaft ready to go just in case something goes wrong with it. Redstone loves being more complicated than it needs to be. Now we will have our dispenser. Hopper should feed into it from the back. From the top is valid, but it runs the risk of the chickens getting out. Now what we want is a slab. We want it to be non-flammable, so let it take on the properties of limestone. Now we want to take our decorative blocks, whatever solid block you are using. You will want a cap on it. Like, you want this to be fully sealed. Well, not fully sealed. There we go. Because the chickens being with their funny little hitboxes can sometimes squeeze their way out. And then you want to take your lava, put it right here. That way the chickens will get cooked as soon as they grow up. Now we want our timer mechanism, and there's a couple of different ways to do this. I'm going to do it the modded way, but you can use let's not use our quarry spell here, huh? Let's not do that. You can use a redstone repeater clock to have this firing. I'll be right back. You know, for just no reason whatsoever, I'll be right back. Right, now where was I? So we're going to do this the modded way with Botania helping, which involves this hovering hourglass and 2 pieces of redstone. Easy peasy. So you take this, you take the hovering hourglass, and you do this. Now, the dispenser will fire off once per second because the hovering hourglass will fire off a redstone timer every second or every 10 seconds or every minute, depending on what type of sand you stuff in it. This one is just regular sand, so it will fire once per second. Easy, a little bit easier and more compact than the redstone clock method. Now we'll come in here and breed these chickens up, as chickens only lay eggs once per minute, so ideally you'll want to have like at least like 10 chickens in the supplier range so that the rate at which eggs come into the system is reasonable, but choose however many chickens suit the speed that you need the eggs to come out. And now it is time for the sorting mechanism. So hopper under here. Not like that. You want your hoppers to be facing this way. Once you have a hopper line, as long as you want or need it to be, this is where we will set up the item filters. So let me just quickly design this, because I don't like to do redstone on camera. I'm not great at doing it all professional-like. So I'll just catch you on the other side when this is all done. Okay, there we go. Item filter done. You use a line of hoppers feeding into these filter hoppers, which have 41 of an item and 4 filter items, which should be renamed to prevent accidental stacking. When let's say I throw these feathers in, they will go only into this hopper, and even if I put chicken on top of it, it won't go through. Instead, the chicken will be filtered down into this item filter. So from this chest, we will have our mechanism that feeds into the Gormalies, as Nothing else should be able to go through, though I will have a chest at the very end that will collect miscellaneous items that are not caught by the filters. Because I believe hoppers pull down before they will pull sideways. So if there's anything that comes through here that shouldn't be in, I'll come and check on this chest periodically. And take it out and throw it somewhere in the garbage. So what we're probably going to want is a dispenser because of the force at which it ejects the items, and we're going to want it to feed into the mirror really easily. So taking this, taking our dispenser, which we want to be facing forward as mirrors do not face down. We'll have our mirror against the wall here. I'll refine this a little bit so that it is I have a little bit more walking space around and behind it, but this is the basic thesis. And then, I believe I can just have the hovering hourglass directly on top of the dispenser. So we'll do it on a 4-second timer. Okay, looks like it's firing. And let us go back up top to see if it is firing into the Gormalies. Yep, looks like it's firing off really, really nicely. Yep. Very, very good. The mana is already being generated. I'll be able to have the portal open 24/7 in no time, and I'll be able to have a supply of mana for my terrasteel. So once these chickens are all bred up, I'll make sure that there's about 10 of them in there. They will be laying their items. They'll be putting down feathers and any excess eggs that happen to like escape through the adult chickens. And yes, it will fire cooked chicken into the Gormalies. So I could call this a resounding success. Alright, with our system in place, I am going to make a couple of sparks. I'm going to make a couple of pieces of terrasteel. I'm going to take this crap upstairs where it belongs, resort it back out, and we are going to see about getting at least a block of terrasteel to add to our catalyzing system. Because the Hungry Node, while powerful on its own, still needs a little bit of a boost. Or at least I think it does. It should, shouldn't it? I don't know. I've never built a tower like this from what basically amounts to duct tape and a wish. Let's make some terrasteel. Yeah, baby! 1 down, 8 more to go. Alright, 8 out of 9. Last one. I had to dig into my mana tablet supply for this. And there we go. Enough terrasteel ingots to make a block. And of course, Britannia insists on not being readable to Thaumcraft. That's fine. Alright, I guess they heard me bad-mouthing it. Never mind, Thaumcraft just, doesn't need to know what Britannia is. I'm gonna need to lay down after this. Okay. So the terrasteel block is gonna go up here as part of the conduit system, near up the very tip. What I plan is for alternating blocks of terrasteel, elementum, all the way down till it reaches all the way down until I feel like it's enough power. Okay, 1 block of terrasteel done. That was a pain in the ass, so hopefully the next ones will not be so difficult. Yeah, here's hoping. So I am running out of time, but here's how the system is going to work once it is all set up. This control room here hooks up to the system below. And when I press this red button, it will send a signal down here to activate. As you can see, the wires are all coming together here. It will power all the system down below, including like the otherware chalk and the ancient rock, which will act as sort of like a entry cannon, I guess. And it will fire up through the middle here, be channeled and catalyzed through the terrasteel and elementum up there, and punch through the signal jamming. But right now, it's just connected to the node. If I press the button right now, it's probably not going to do much besides... What? How? What the...
You have 3 new urgent messages. Playing new messages.
Hey, Warden, it's Redtree. You've been gone a while, and you're not usually gone this long, so I'm gonna be honest, and, as much as I don't want to pry, you are starting to worry us. Could you at least let us know if you're in trouble? Thanks.
Look, Ward, I don't know what you're up to wherever you are, but you gotta check in soon, or Al's gonna hunt you down himself. Run back, stay safe, and turn your motherfucking communicator on. I swear to God!
Warden, it's been a few days now. The others are out of the room, so I'm leaving you this message here myself. I heard from the others you tend to vanish sometimes, but they're starting to sound really worried. For their sake, could you please get back to us? The radio sounds, bad. Thanks. You have no new messages. Urgent messages are currently set to play automatically. To change this, please refer to your security and privacy settings.
What have I made? It's not supposed to be able to do this yet. You're not supposed to be able to do that yet. But they got through. They know I'm missing. They know something's up. They've got to be looking for me. I've got to finish this. I've got to finish the tower. I've got to get back to them. I've got to... Oh God. I need to tell them not to touch any of the books that I have. They can't... If they touch the book... Oh shit. Shit. I have to get this finished. I have to tell them not to touch the book. Don't touch the book. Please. Please. If you can hear me, don't touch the book. Don't touch the book. Shit. Okay. We're all at time for today, so, thank you for watching. If you liked this video, why not like, subscribe, share with your friends, leave a comment if you want. And, next time, we will be finishing the tower, getting this all up and running, and making it, usable. Until then, my name is Warden, and I am signing off for tonight. See ya!